Yeah, I think you can always have experiences that you can draw from. You try to give a little bit of wisdom, like guys like Footy and Gaunch and Yosi, talk to certain guys, like we talked to a few groups of guys. I think it's important that you share some stories in these kind of situations and how you deal with them. Because, but for me, it's always short term. It's like your first shift, I know it's a cliche, it's first period. You can't think of anything else. You start letting things in your head, then you start playing on your heels. You're watching, you're pausing. So I think you just got to worry about your first shift in the first period.
How much more difficult is this team to play here in this building?
Well, I just think they're difficult in general. I don't know the home record or road record. They're tough. They played well when they were in Vancouver. They had some games there where they won. They all played us. So I don't know. It's for me. Like I think I told 200 by 80. Whether they cheer you or boo you, it shouldn't affect you. It really shouldn't.
What are you expecting from Connor? I mean, it's been quiet for him for 3 games in terms of his effort level against your guys.
Same as always. Full blast. Wants the puck. He's going to have the puck a lot. He's an outstanding player. You always expect the best. And as he's been in the league, I mean, he doesn't give you many bad games. I'll tell you that. That's why he's one of the best players.
What do you think of how's your team done with the physical balance in this series? Have they been as physical as you would have liked them to? And do you feel like it's starting to potentially have an effect here deep in the series, that kind of investment?
I thought last game I liked our physicality. It was a smart physicality. I think sometimes people get confused with, I hate players that run around for the sake of running around. You got to be smart the way you hit. They got some players, you hit them on the wrong way, they bounce back. It's happened through the series. You try to kill a guy, he's by you, they got 4 on the attack. So you got to be calculated the way you attack that and be aggressive. But aggressive doesn't mean just hitting, it's just time and space.
Their power play generally doesn't go quiet for too long. Yeah. They clearly make adjustments. Is there any way to get ahead of those adjustments, or how do you prepare for a power play that is going to throw some different stuff at you?
Yeah, I think there's some trigger points when to pressure and when not to, and we hit them pretty good last game. They still had some looks. You got to be careful though when you're too aggressive because they'll burn you. So it's a lot of like I don't know. Last game we gave some players like Dak and guys that haven't played a lot of playoff games experience going against a top power play, and now he felt it a little bit. He's in this series. I'm just using him as an example, an inexperienced guy when it comes to that. So hopefully he can draw from last game and kind of have some reads that help him out, where he's not over aggressive because we want an aggressive mindset, but we don't want to be out of control. And I think there's a sweet spot there that you got to try to find, and that comes with experience.
Rick, what does JT do that allows him to be effective in these matchups against really talented players?
Sorry. I would think with him, he's a really good, for a centerman, I think he's one of the best forechecking centermen in the league. So when he's, and it's hard to be at F1, it's hard to be the first forechecker as a centerman. It really is. It's really hard. He's one of the better guys in the league he will lead the charge as an F1. And I think when you do that, it kind of puts the other team on a little pause because now you're getting on the forecheck. Whether you get the puck or you're hitting the puck, you're getting the puck. And I think, so what's the best way to defend the best, great players is having the puck. So it's not like he's going up the ice, I'm going to be F3 and I'm just going to play off on it. I think he's not afraid to be the F1. I think that's a key for us is that all year he's one of our best forecheckers.
And let's say 3 years ago, even though he was a good offensive player, I'm not sure many people would have thought of him as a matchup guy. Yeah. Has your opinion on him, I know it's 16 months, it's not 3 years, but has your opinion on him in that role changed since you took over? Yeah,
I think he right from day one, we challenged, but he challenged himself that he basically wanted to become a better defensive player. When we got there, we heard, he could be a better defensive player, and I was always scratching my head. The way his body is, the way he thinks the game offensively, the way he plays the game, he should be good defensively, and I think he's chipped away at that. I think he's grown immensely as knowing where to go, spots, things like that. I think he's really grown immensely in that role without taking offense away.
In terms of that defensive game,
Yeah.
on the wing, in matchup roles, he was always a very high level. It was sort of at center, where maybe the results for a few years weren't quite at the same level, and now, really almost immediately once you took over, frankly, that he sort of seemed to hit that level. How impressed are you when a guy who's been around as long as he has sort of levels up as a matchup guy at this stage of their career?
Yeah, I started matching him up at the beginning of the year a little bit, even when I got there last year. And I don't know, he'll come to me even when I don't even tell him I'm going to match him. Hey, do I got this guy tonight? Like, he's the guy that really, like, I wanted to be a matchup guy. This series I've been a hard matchup guy, tried to be. But he's one of those guys that, he looks at me. It's not like he's like, get me out there. Can I get the fourth and third line? He doesn't ask me for that. He relishes that role, and I think that's helped him grow into that role.
Thatcher was working with Clark and some of your forward scratches after skate today, which seems like progress. We haven't seen him do that kind of work yet. Is this a matter of sort of seeing how he reacts and sort of taking it day by day, or sort of where is he on sort of a return to play progression?
Yeah, there's certain drills you want him to do, certain pushes and stuff like that, and then you wait till the next day and see how, you're right, how everything reacts. I think that's the next level for him. But obviously, him being on there, taking shots, obviously it's positive for us.
Can you describe how you've managed your team's rest and what you're seeing from them as far as freshness, fatigue, any of that?
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, they actually, like, I try to give them, hey, what do you think? Do you want to skate or not? But a lot of guys want us to tell them what to do. This team, for whatever reason, they like, well, a couple guys, what would you do? Like, they ask that now, and I think, so it's important that we give them something. But I still think it's important that I give them, like yesterday, hey, do you want to go on the ice today or tomorrow? Some coaches like, no, we're going on regardless. And sometimes I will make that call. I think I did that 3-4 games. We're all going to go on. But I think if you go far in the playoffs, you got to give them that latitude of them deciding. Like Hughes, he wanted to go on the ice yesterday. He didn't want to go on today. So those are the things that how you manage rest with those type of players.
And what are you seeing from them in that regard? Are you seeing, like it looked like in the last game, for example, Hughes had another level, right? Are you seeing that from some guys, or maybe they're getting stronger as the series goes?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part throughout the playoffs, I don't find our teams fatiguing. We're trying to use the bench. I know sometimes, when you get like last game, what they had 5 power plays, right? That's 10 minutes. So some guys are, obviously the Hoggies and those guys, instead of getting 9 or 10, 12, they're getting 9 because of the power play differential. But you try, I got to use the bench. I mean, you can't beat Edmonton with 2.5 lines. You can't.
Rick, I'm just curious, you've shared a locker room as a player and as a coach with a variety of Hall of Fame level talents. When you have a series that's unfolding like this, and McDavid has 1 assist in his last 3 games, do you expect, from your experience, that player to be additionally dangerous going into a game like tonight?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, just, look at the odds, how many times you shut a guy like that down. So, we're going to have to really, this is going to be the hardest game we're ever going to play, like, till the next game, right? Whatever that game is. That's the way I look at it. It's never easy. I don't care how good you're playing. The next game is the hardest game.
Rick, over here, I just want to ask you about that net front battle in front of your own net. It looks like they're not getting a lot of second chance opportunities, a lot of rebound opportunities. And just maybe a comment on the job you guys are doing to clear the front of the net and win those battles for rebounds and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, box outs was a big part of before this series. We had to make sure that we owned, or try to own it, because, Edmonton's a really good, we try to take a page out of them with their offense. They're really good at getting to the net. So we have to be really diligent on body position. I'm a body position guy. Like, don't be looking at the puck. Take the man, then look for the puck. And I think we've, for the most part, but they've had their looks. I mean, they're so good. They're gonna get their looks. I mean, because they're good at that.
Canucks in 6.
Shout out to my boy Rick Tocchet.
You shall not pass!
Go Canucks, go.
Let's keep this thing going, baby.
Generational talent.
Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.